Now, today's papers are all following the story of John Venables, who was one of the 10-year-old boys jailed for the murder of 2-year-old James Bulger back in 1993. Both Venables and Robert Thompson received new identities when they were released from prison in 2001. However, this week it's been reported that Venables is back inside after breaking the conditions of his release. Now, James Bulger's parents, Ralph Bulger and Denise Fergus, want to be told the reasons why, and there have been calls for the public to know the details as well. Home Secretary Alan Johnson has said the public do have a right to know, and I believe they will know all the facts in due course. But I must in no way prejudice the future criminal justice proceedings. So, obviously, it stands to reason that the parents of James Bulger want to know the details. But do we think that it's in the public interest for the press to keep reporting this, and for us to know, us the public to know, the fates of John and of Venables and Thompson's? What do we think?
I personally don't think it is in the public interest, only because, for me, it's like, you know what, you didn't listen to me, you weren't interested in my opinion the first time around about what should happen to these boys.
You're talking about the criminal justice?
The criminal justice system. They'll do what they want in the end anyway. The only reason I think that you'd want to know is so you can go, you know, there you go, told you were wrong. So I don't see what interest... I don't see what I can do about it. You know, if it will just anger me, I will just be so angry, and it'll be all anger again.
When you said, there you go, I told you I was right and you were wrong, do you mean in terms of trying to rehabilitate them? Do you think they should have been kept in prison?
They shouldn't be rehabilitated.
Yeah, for those people who said, no, they should go to prison and they should stay there forever until they die, it's kind of their way of saying, well, you know, what did you expect by releasing these boys at any age? Do
you think it's in the public interest?
I think that it is. I think that this media frenzy, as Coleen said, is so a lot of people will go, no, we told you so. But I think it is. I want to know whether they did make the right decision, whether these people could be rehabilitated. I, like Lynda, you know, work with a lot of charities, and I'm all for looking at the parents and you know, finding reasons why these children of this age could behave in such a feral manner, in such a horrendous manner. But at the same time, I think that there are some cases where you do have to shut the door and throw away the key. And I think that in this instance, I don't want them to be rehabilitated. I don't care that they were 10 years old. I think that there is evil inherent in some people, and I think with those two, there was.
The thing is, you have to question the press at this point, bringing it all up again, except to fill newspapers. We didn't know in the first place the details. We won't know the details now. What we have in this country, whether you like it or not, and you have to I'm always banging on about this, a justice system. We either agree in the main it works, right? Now, I'm not in a position to talk about these two boys. None of us are. We know nothing. What we know is that 10-year-old children were involved in a terrible tragedy for all their families, for everybody involved. The point is, it's right that we try and give those children some kind of rehabilitation.
Not those two.
Well, you don't... Denise, if you start going down the road of judging people and this vendetta mentality, you're as bad as everybody else. It's baying hounds. And the press loves to wind everybody up.
Maybe I am a baying hound. That crime is beyond comprehension, Lynda, and it was a premeditated crime. I don't care how old they were.
It has to be dealt
I have
with
a child who's 9 years old.
So
the court, if you don't pay your tax bill, you go away for blooming 10 years. If you kill somebody...
But you're doing what the press are doing. You must be clear-headed about this. We do not know the details of this case. These two boys...
We do know quite a lot of the details.
If they were dealt with incorrectly, that is for people in the justice system to discover. If we're all going,
trust the
hooray,
justice
hooray,
system.
Yes.
I don't trust the justice system.
It doesn't
I have no faith in it whatsoever.
No, it's no good us applauding the fact we have no trust. It's a tragedy we have no trust in our justice system. Having a go and dragging all this up is not going to make it any better. What we need to do is make it better now by who we vote for and not taking it in the future. You can't keep raking over old crimes.
Lynda, going back to, you know, I mentioned that they were given new identities when they were released from prison in 2001. You know, for a start, do we think that was the right thing to do? And do you think that the system, in a sense, has almost failed them? Because on the one hand, you've been given a new identity, but as soon as something has gone wrong, which we don't know yet what it is, it is still back in the public arena yet again. So actually, the system in itself, which was supposed to try and rehabilitate them, release them, let them start again, has failed them in a sense. Do you think so, Coleen?
Absolutely, because it's putting it all in the paper again. But I think it's such an emotive subject anyway. As a mother, of course, if anything happened to my child, and when I read about that case all those years ago, I was horrified, and if it was my child, I would want them in prison. I'd want them to suffer in prison, and I'd want the keys thrown away. However, taking the emotional side out of it, if you can, and thinking about it logically, it was 2 10-year-old children, and also as a mother of maybe 10-year-olds who've for whatever reason, if my kid was 10 and he'd made a terrible mistake and he was crying in my arms and saying, I didn't mean it, but he forced me to do it, and they were going, I'm going to lock your child up for the rest of his life. Of course, I'd want that side of it as well for him to be... I'd want to say, look, teach him the right way. What I'm saying is, I'm sitting on the fence.
We work for Bernardo's. Lots of people in this country have no idea of what children go through in this country. Terrible, terrible things children go through. And if this helps bring that out and help more children, fine. If not, let it rest.
Absolutely. And as we said, the justice system, they have made a decision. We do have to trust them, whether we believe in it or not. And although this may have happened many, many years ago, it's happening again.
Yes.
So
it happened last year with
absolutely. So we do have to find some kind of way to prevent it from happening, and if it does, rehabilitating and stop it happening again. And I think we can just there, but for the grace of God.